That was a dumb idea on his part.
You're muted.
You're muted and you're being funny.
I can't hear you.
It's because you were muted.
So sorry. So we were at that text thread, I believe.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the threat of attorneys against you.
It's just a constant threat. And then
Triple
there's more
threat
that I sent in about like the furniture, about how they just showed that, and you can see the furniture that was gifted there for me.
So the furniture, how is that related to the so I've admitted this screenshot of this text involving what you characterize as the threat of the attorneys constantly, attorneys.
That guy above her is the
furniture.
one
How is
her?
that related to acts of family violence he may have committed
with the
against
movie
you?
theater in his house?
Well, it was what she was using for the case that when I was arrested, and about what I had gotten from there, and saying that I broke in and took things and I stole things, and it would just shows that. I mean, the thing is that every single exchange with my son, even when I was pushed to have parenting time, to encourage that parenting time with our son, has always been extremely violent. I'm going
to ask you at this point to get into specifics, okay?
You want me
to? Yes, about when you say every exchange has been extremely violent, because you testify there's been several exchanges after the August incident. And so that's a little bit confusing to me. So I need to hear what you mean by extremely violent.
I wrote down quite a bit, but
who's he talking to?
All the way.
There's somebody else in the room with him, by the way, which is a huge no-no.
All the way back to when I left. From the day that I left, of when Shannon was extremely, the day I left was awful. Shannon had an extreme drinking problem, and I was fostering my niece and nephew. On the day that February 8th, 2021.
Yeah, he's talking to somebody, right?
Yeah, there's somebody in the room that shouldn't be there.
At 10 a.m. And no one, my niece, the teenagers, my niece and I could not get him off of my nephew.
Oh.
The amount of violence is extreme. At that time, I rented an apartment down the street, sight unseen.
By the way, I see
I needed to get those children out.
And so let me ask you this. Is this 2011 or when are you talking about?
2021.
2021.
He's making notes.
This is the day that I left.
Okay. So
following up for that, I would have left earlier, but I had a craniotomy, I had a brain tumor. And that is part of the reason why he takes my head. In every exchange, he has taken my head and either hit me on the left side of the head or screamed into my right.
Look, we learn Creed early on in professional wrestling. You pick a body part and you work over the one body part. And that's how you sell it.
It has happened. There has been times where he has been screaming and cussing, and I wish that I had the text messages, but I lost my phone in a river during a trip over the summertime.
I thought you'd say a flood.
But there have been situations
this lays a tragedy walking
directly involve Emrys,
right?
Of him cussing me out, screaming. Emrys hearing it and reading the text messages, running outside to get away from Shannon, spanking him or preventing him, and that's towards
them, not
Emrys,
us.
Our son.
So on this one, hold on, you're breaking up again. So on this one.
Breaking up is hard to do, but she's doing it well today.
There we go. All right. No. Okay. So this is acts of violence towards you. That you have not filed on behalf of the child, but he has no legal rights to the child at this point anyway. So what I'm looking at is acts of family violence towards you.
Oh, I thought that Emrys was involved. Is also
a little long on the tooth, but you having children.
He's only a protected party under you as a minor child.
Yeah, he's young.
At this point, as I said, anything future, and this is not filed on behalf of him, and any future legitimation case may alter that, but may alter anything if an order were issued today. But I need you to be specific about threat, because you're saying he screamed in your ear and yelled at you.
On which days and which months?
This lady is no
give me
Judge
some
Manning.
time
Let's go ahead
frames,
and put that out there.
because you also mentioned that he's had the child, through after August. So I'm asking you to give me some specific times that, or
he has not had because of the exchanges. He has not. July 21st.
She's trying to be an auto
I
tuner.
offered parenting time.
She's doing a good job.
That came in. I have that on video. I did not submit that video.
Why not?
Video
is great.
I don't know if that's really goes into what happened on August 31st.
So tell me, what are you saying about July 21st?
July 21st, he came, attacked me. So there was this constant, get your things out of the home, but I wasn't allowed onto the property.
Okay.
There was a constant of get your things out of the storage bin, but I was not allowed inside the storage bin. I do have emails that do say, that I wasn't allowed to be in the storage bin from the storage bin.
Thank you, Vinny, for liking us on
that all
Twitter.
goes into the legitimation custody hearing. So I was told to leave that out, and we will deal with that next week.
What a whore.
But there are specific dates that I have dating back from the day that I left, and I did turn.
Carol, take your time with mine.
I can pull it up.
When you say turn it in, if it's just a written statement by you, you can just testify to that.
What did you say?
Yeah, it's a written statement.
Okay,
I turned in yesterday. Go ahead. I was just trying to bring it up here.
I like Shannon up. He's just sitting back. He's real chilly. He's looking sharp.
I'm the dude.
He's got that vibe. He's the dude.
He does.
He's the cool guy with all the cool toys.
We got April 2021.
I'd love to know what those movie posters are back there, though.
Shannon
followed that means we've got authorization.
So when I left, I still had
Mm-hmm,
appointments stemming from that craniotomy when I left, and finding out what else was wrong with
That's
me.
them, not us, as far as recording goes.
There were times where he said that he would help me. When I left, I didn't have anyone. My family does not live here. What family I do have,
craniotomy sounds very serious.
I'm looking at it.
He did let me borrow his car after I had wrecked my car after a eye appointment.
Surgical opening into the skull.
Followed me to a local pub highway down the street from where we lived. I was having.
By the way, this is an educational channel now.
It was a rainy night.
He gets more views that way.
Followed me and broke the taillight of the car while berating me that I was going to get pulled over for a DUI. I actually had this on memory stick.
That memory stick.
The video happened at about 8:30 p.m. on a rainy evening in April. I cannot find that memory stick anymore.
I hope when Shannon starts talking, it sounds like he's about to belt out show tunes. Well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the next time?
Okay, so the next one is May 2021. This is towards Emrys when he showed up at the last game of the baseball season. And he spanked Emrys in front of the entire baseball team. June 2021, Shannon refused to, he stopped us from traveling. He refused to help me get.
Oh my God, I hate to stop this because we might miss out, but.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. This is not relevant.
He spanked him in front of the whole baseball team.
Incidents of family violence. You said that there were incidents where he attacked you at exchanges, and that's what I'm asking you to tell me about.
Well, that was one where he prevented us from traveling.
And how did he do that?
I had purchased a trip for Emrys and I to go to Mexico where I could start. I had a whole plan of.
Thank you for the kind words, George.
Because that's what I used to do.
Tell a friend.
I agree.
Tel Aviv.
Passport
Great to have you.
February 2022, knowing that the tickets had expired January 30.
And you're right. Yeah,
Flushing
is
2021.
You're right.
2022. I only got that passport after pleading with his stepfather to help me get it.
Okay. What about the next any act of family violence?
August 21st.
She's got all this evidence we can't see.
We had at the Georgia coast, unannounced, and
forget?
Came onto the island. We were in Cumberland Island. Came onto the island and drank copious amounts of alcohol, where he spanked Emrys and then attacked me in the middle of the forest. That is a time where he took me by the head and punched me in the head, screaming in the ear, and all of that did happen in front of Emrys. He did leave the following day.
The kid's name is Emrys?
Yeah, what a weird, it's like an airplane.
Let's see.
Was that reported to the
she makes
police,
bad
or
decisions.
did any witnesses there?
All of this is just me versus him. January 2022,
Regina
he
down
attempted
here
to run me over again, and that was in front of his home.
I'm guessing Regina's
when I
his
was
attorney.
dropping
Yeah.
his guitar for a guitar lesson. In February 20,
A guitar
No,
lesson?
I'm going to
Then he
stop you
spanked
there.
him
You
with a
say he
guitar.
attempted to run you over. I
He
need you
went
to
all
take me
Jeff Jarrett on his
specifically
ass,
through
hit
that
him over the
and
head
how
with
that
it.
happened.
So on January 2022, Emrys was in two different activities. He had swim and after school, and his after school was in Decatur. And
How many
and
things
his
is this kid
after school,
doing?
he had a guitar,
Very good.
and swim was canceled, and so we were going to send him to the after school, vice versa. And I went to go give him Emrys's guitar because he was going to pick Emrys up from school and take him to after school. Well, because of the change of plans, Shannon did not like that, and there was a heated argument, and that's when Shannon actually backed the car up to hurt me. He did not do it forward, he backed it up. And that was in their driveway and Cove Circle where his parents live.
So what did you do when the car backed up?
I got out of the way and I left.
All of a sudden,
at that same time when
Ludacris kicked in and he said, move,
that's
B
just
word,
one
get
of
out
them
the
when
way.
he
Get
got
out the
over
way,
there.
B
And
word.
those neighbors at 2704 Cove Circle at that house have seen all of this.
Objection.
And so
Well, I'm going to, did you see
Jordan,
them see
Regina's
these things take
mad
place?
about all this. You're
so
right.
the houses, I mean, we would have to.
Hold on,
Thank
just
you,
ask,
Jordan.
when you
I
said
did
that.
not see them.
Okay. So I'm going to sustain the objection. All right, go ahead.
Jordan, does your
What's
family
the
own any
next
hotels?
after January?
Any
February
July?
2022, Shannon came. This
Drive
was
a Toyota
another
with a lion in it.
exchange with a guitar. Shannon, I was upstairs. I had left the guitar outside.
Please
like I
hit
would
somebody
do.
with the guitar.
I
Please.
always tried to stay away from Shannon, especially after he had
Thank you
tried
for the
to
guitar.
run me over in January 2022. I left the guitar and his music outside of the doorway, which I would usually do. Shannon opened up the door, grabbed me by the throat, and threw me up against the wall. And
Not
that
cool.
is again when he also would punch me inside the head. That time was when
Inside the head?
at February 2022.
He is
that's
after
when I had
that
the feeling that he was
cranial
going to kill me.
ablation thing she had
What
done.
did you do after that incident? Was anyone present?
No, that's why I have
Regina?
cameras now,
Sorry.
because I didn't have anything. I didn't have a dime to my name when I left. So that was one that happened March 2022. Let's see. That was when he came. He wouldn't let me leave in my own car, and he held me by the throat and inside my own car.
Not cool.
That happened with another exchange.
He doesn't
Where
look
were
very
you at
strong,
that
though, by
time?
the way.
That was out in front of his parents' house.
I can't believe his parents are still alive, as old as he is.
April 2022. That was the incident I was just telling you about when Emrys
True.
got in the middle of the fighting.
Good to see you, Junior.
again.
Okay, so hold on. I want to go back to the March 22 when you say he held you by your throat in your own car.
Yes.
You were in the driveway. Were you in the driver's seat?
I was
How
not.
long did it last?
I was not in the driveway. I was in front. Actually, I was in front of the neighbor's home. I didn't park in front of their house.
Did she call the cops at any of these
after the time
times?
that he tried to run back
Seems like
up
there's
the
a lot
car
of times we
towards
could have
me
called
in
the law.
driveway.
Sounds like a lot of times he could have been arrested, yeah.
That is when he was trying to. It was always an argument about a change of schedule or child support.
I bet he pays a
How
lot.
long did this last?
Ooh, I bet he pays a lot.
From him holding my throat in the car.
Jordan, yeah.
That was a lot. I
Jordan,
would probably say that was a
truer
solid
words were never
10-minute
spoken, my
argument.
friend.
Yeah. Jordan hit the nail on the head, as they say.
Did you seek any medical help after that?
No, I did not.
Okay, what's the next incident?
That was April 22,
I mean,
2022.
Jordan gets it, you know?
Jordan has a very positive
this has
attitude, and I
more to
like
do
that.
with Emrys.
Creed, I'm gonna pause this. Probably a horrible move I'll regret. Tons of stuff that she's saying he's done sounds very terrible. Terrible stuff if he did it.
With
She
zero.
has a medical condition where she's had to have her head open, as Creed found out.
Yes.
And he's punching her in the head, but she's not seeking any medical attention. She's not calling any of the police. In all these videos that she has, we haven't seen.
No, nothing.
And for everybody say you're talking all over this, we have to, because pausing it, we may miss the end.
Yeah.
For May 2022, when I was begging for therapy, and our son had posted a TikTok video that was extremely sad because he was crying and posted this.
How many views did he
on
get,
TikTok about how his parents
God
hate one
bless.
another so badly. I reached out to Shannon about seeking therapy for Emrys. That's when I should have started.
The kid doesn't need anything else to do. He always has 50 things to do.
Shannon, in
Give
turn,
him time for TikTok.
shamed Emrys about the entire situation, refused to help me financially get therapy for Emrys, and made him take the TikTok
Her lawyer's
video
going
down.
to his lawyer's going to tear her
talking about
apart.
What was being
Get ready.
what was being expressed.
So, that would.
I know.
She's being real
So
quiet.
Tell me any other exchange.
Let's see. June, he was the rest of the time he was gone, and when we try to reach Shannon, it goes into an international phone call. When I do reach out for parenting time, he says that he's out of the country.
Okay, so that's going to go to
Again.
other issues, not acts of violence against you. And like I said, you said that every time there was an exchange, he was violent. So that's what I'm asking about.
Yep, those are the exchanges there. These are all the exchanges there. So
Okay. All right. Is there any?
July?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then that
What's the kid doing on TikTok? There's no business there.
If I could
Dancing.
send that video, I don't know how to
Pulling your
send
shirt
that
real
video
tight
on
right
July
here.
21st.
What would the video show that you're saying it would show?
It would
She should
show
call the
exactly
police, yes.
what I'm dealing with when I drop him off.
But what? I
And
need.
this
Oh, yes,
happened in
please.
front
Are we
of,
Please, finally.
of Shannon's parents' home again.
Can you describe for me what that means?
Yeah, and I can hold my phone up. If
No,
you'd
we
like.
can't do that because we can't place your phone in evidence. But can you describe for me what?
Oh yeah, I'm constantly met. Can I send the link to you?
No, we can't do a link.
He's asking you to describe what the video would show.
Okay, hold on one second.
Oh,
So the video shows Shannon extremely red in the face, and the amount of cussing that goes on.
we got to see this.
And how he approaches me in this video he did not attack me, but I do have the video where I do say don't attack me because he was about to. And
Don't attack me.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Objection. Can you
Okay,
please?
so ma'am, yeah, so this has not been previously submitted to the court. I need you to stop playing it now, please.
I'm sorry, I was trying to
Yeah, she tried.
I mean, unless you can put it in a form
Swing and a
that you
miss,
can email it
Creed.
to
Swing
the
and a
court and
miss.
email it to Miss Edwards.
Yep.
And for the
Mouse?
parties, I mean, I acknowledge, I heard both parties
Mouse?
in that first video. So, is there any attack going on?
Yeah, pretty much there is. The
Pretty much.
reason. See,
Stop
there's-
playing, please.
She can't get it off now. Couldn't get it on. Now we can't get it
All right.
off.
So I'm just asking you not to play the video, but describe for me what you're saying happened at that time.
So
on that exchange.
I am not allowed to be on the property at all since the day I left. And if I drop Emrys off, I've been asked at 8 years
Sorry,
old.
objection. Non-responsive.
So
She just asked what
hold
happened on
on. You're objecting non-responsive. My question
Man,
was,
look at Shannon's shirt.
what does that
Perfect
video
level of V.
show?
Like he's in love.
The video shows the aggression that he has towards me and the language that's always towards me at each time. And then the aggression of screaming and yelling and possibly putting their hands on him, putting his hands on me.
And are you saying that this places you in fear for your safety when this happens?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What's after July?
July
August.
was after July became August 31st.
Oh.
You almost
Nailed
did.
it.
Okay. You've already testified to that. So were there any exchanges after August 31st?
No, that's when I had asked for all exchanges to happen
Poland
at a safe
Springs,
place,
I
a
believe,
fire
Craig?
station. So
Apparently she's not spending that money on internet.
And so I was, that's when I had asked. And then when really the police, the Brookhaven police, when I
She has to. She doesn't have any evidence.
Yeah, she's
suggested
not
I
doing
go to
too
the police
good.
station.
Yeah,
And then,
and
of
you guys
course,
are right.
talking
We see this
to judges,
over and over and over again
like
as a
the
trend.
first TPO judge.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you not to say what anyone has said.
Anyways, I had asked for all exchanges to be done in a public.
Okay.
I remember when September
All
ended.
right.
Nah,
Is there
I woke up.
anything
I don't want to talk about
else
that.
based on the questions you were earlier asked by Ms. Edwards? And Ms. Edwards, I'll give you one more chance to follow up. But is there any questions based on the questions asked by Ms. Edwards earlier? Anything you want the court to know, or any other evidence or witnesses? Do you have any witnesses you want the court to talk to?
Not from that day. Everything else pertains to.
Do you have witnesses that have great internet like you do?
And the guardian ad litem that I had asked for.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Ms. Edwards, do you have any follow-up questions based on that redirect?
Yes. How old is
Here
your
we
nephew?
go. Here we go.
He is 19.
Oh,
You
it's a small
testified that
child.
you saw my
Could've
client
been.
violently beating your nephew.
Yes,
Regina.
ma'am. And we all did.
Did you call the police?
We left that day. We have to have 8 police cars. We left that day.
My question was, when you saw my client violently beating your nephew, did you call the police to protect your nephew?
We had the police there 8 times.
Objection non-responsive.
No, I did not. Instead, I called his stepfather, Shannon's stepfather, to intervene. I was told to leave them home immediately with the children and our dogs. And I did.
Okay. The message
saw
that
that
you put
video.
into evidence that says, sending videos to attorney, I'll talk to you later, but this is not going well for you. You think that is a threat for what?
Shannon Hassan, aren't you his third attorney?
Hi.
Mhm.
No, I work with Ms. Schiffer, but can you please answer
And
my
this is not,
question?
so please do not, so this is the time for the attorney to ask questions, all right, and not to ask questions of her. If you
She
don't
asking her
understand something,
questions
you can let
back.
the court know that,
Yeah.
but otherwise,
Where did you get that
please
lovely
just
jacket?
answer her questions, starting with yes or no, and then you may explain your answer, all right? Thank you.
When he says to you, sending videos to attorney, I'll talk to you later, but this is not going well for you. You said that that was a threat. And my question is, what do you think he's threatening to do?
Don't mess with me. I'm one crazy mofo.
Always something. This isn't going well for me. Why would
Nailed
that
it.
not go well for me? Because I didn't do anything bad.
Okay. Do you think what he's talking about is the fact that you would not let him get his son, and that could be a problem for you in your custody case?
As you can see, I asked for, no. I asked for
Why?
him to come back to
It's
retrieve
yes or no.
the son, and let's work on it together.
Okay. And again, this is immediately after he tried to kill you.
He has tried, yes.
Wow.
And
Okay.
if I'd not granted this today.
We
he's
see this
going to do
happen
it
so
again.
often.
Happens
doesn't
too
stop.
often.
The car that my client showed up in, the reason you were upset is because that was his girlfriend's car, right?
I wasn't downstairs. I'm sorry. No, I wasn't downstairs for the exchange. I stayed upstairs in my apartment, and Emrys came back upstairs crying, and he did not want to get in the car. I asked him why he didn't want to get in the car.
Objection, hearsay. I'm gonna
Emmer
ask
sounds
a
very
different-
soft.
But I'll
by
ask a
the
different
way.
question.
Okay,
SWAFT.
sustained on the hearsay.
Soft.
When you were downstairs, because he saw you downstairs, you saw the car, correct? Saw the car, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
Are you
And
recording
you
this?
knew that that was my client's girlfriend's car, correct?
Yes, he's been driving it for a
It didn't help that he got out of the car, Creed, and he was like,
And that's why you were upset that you didn't want your son to get into my client's girlfriend's car.
In fact, no. And you can see there's text messages to say, turn around, we can work on this
no,
together.
that's the nephew got
However,
beat up by the
it's a
old
good
man.
thing he didn't, because Emrys sees him do this all the time.
I
He
feel
does
like
it every
all
single
she
time
does
in
is
front of
talk to
Emrys.
Emrys about
And I'm
how
trying
crappy
to
his
make
dad
sure
is.
that my son has the best life and can be happy.
I hope
Okay.
Jacob isn't
And the
going
way
down
for
that,
you
road.
to think, you just said you wanted your son to have the best life, and you thought that would be
You know
accomplished
what I mean?
by asking the person that just tried to kill you in front of him to turn around and come back and get him.
No.
Okay.
By the way, Jacob, the carpetbagger
I
said,
don't-
if you want to send him some money,
Wait,
send it through
one
us and we'll
second,
get
for
it
a
to
minute.
him. Or just like the video.
I was a little confused when you testified that you said you thought that you had a TPO in place. When did you think the TPO was put in place?
September 8th.
Okay, so can you please explain why there are messages after September 8th to my client if you thought you had a restraining order against him?
I have no clue how a TPO works. I didn't even know what a TPO was.
Okay,
It wasn't
So-
until
Okay. Jordan, your name will be up there until you send it.
ma'am, I'm just going off of what you said. You said that you thought there was a TPO in place, correct?
I thought that I had filed for
We
one
take
on
euros.
September 8th when I went down to the DeKalb County Courthouse and was being guided in many different directions.
Okay, so if you thought that you had applied for a protective order asking this court to keep my client away from you, why are you still sending him text messages after that period?
Well, I didn't know how a TPO worked until I was granted one in November.
Okay.
Once again,
Did you
the
at least know
communication
that a
process
TPO, the
broken
point of a
down.
TPO was to keep someone away from you and to keep them from contacting you?
Yes, and we never saw each other face to face after that.
So you thought that you had something in place preventing contact, yet you continue to reach out to him via text message, correct?
Only on to get to arrange my things, which I was told to do by my attorney
Where's your attorney?
and by his attorney.
Attorney couldn't be here today.
I don't have any other questions for her. In terms of my client, I have a few questions for him, but it will not be long.
All right. Ma'am, do you have, so you don't have any witnesses or any other evidence to present at this time?
Cole, baby.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to mute you for now. I'm going to allow the respondent to present any evidence that they
Dick Harris,
wish
just
to.
in time to hear Shannon talk.
And then you will be able to ask a few questions. I would ask you to ask them to me, and then I will ask them of the respondent. So you're not directly back and forth, okay? All right.
And get
thank
ready,
you.
she can
Okay,
question
Edwards, you may
him
proceed.
after this.
You have
so
to,
be
yeah.
ready.
Unmute yourself. There you go.
Yes, ma'am.
Has Miss Beard ever been physically violent towards you?
Yes, ma'am. Many times.
Okay. Okay, can you please pull up Exhibit 4?
Uh-oh, we got exhibits. Remember he did Pimp My Ride? Who remembers
Have you
that,
taken
right?
pictures of when she has been violent towards you?
Yes, all throughout our relationship.
Okay, and can you please scroll down to
What
the
am
other
I looking
pictures?
at? Oh, scratch marks right there on the neck. Okay. Oh, he's got
So
a
what I will
shiner.
do, rather than just showing pictures, I'm going to ask that you lay some sort of foundation for them.
Okay.
Get Creed down.
that-
There we go.
Time, approximate date,
Blood,
circumstances.
everybody. Ew.
Yep.
Let me ask you the question, Mr. Pengelly.
Mhm.
Can you tell us the approximate time frame these pictures were taken?
You know, it's a large collection, and they took place, over the 10 years we were together. And so I don't have specific incidents for each of these. However, there are numerous.
Oh, no.
And
All right, Madam Petitioner, Miss Beard, do you have any objection
Kind
to
about
these
crazy, but he's
being
definitely
being entered?
Well, I mean, there's
eccentric.
not that there's, however, anytime there was a facial attack, it was for him to get him off of me, but I also feel like these are very old, and this doesn't have anything to do with me leaving post February
Okay.
2021.
So I hear you
These are
saying, okay. So relevance, you're not
You're
not
gonna get busted
disputing
open the hard way,
the
baby. And that's
authenticity
the
of
way you
the
do
pictures. You're
it.
disputing whether they're relevant to your petition. Is that right?
They're not.
Okay.
Exactly.
So since there has been testimony about the history of the relationship, I will, Ms. Edwards, allow you to go into this. I'm going to overrule the objection, but note, I want to limit it somewhat because this is whether acts of violence have been committed against the petitioner at this time is what I'm looking at. And her acts don't necessarily mean that he didn't also commit acts, right? So I would ask that you limit it in that sense.
Okay, can you please go to the last picture? It's a finger, I believe.
Which finger?
Yes, there we
Oh.
Do you recall when this picture was taken?
Not exactly, unfortunately. Again, there's some,
Never mind. Let's take down Exhibit 4.
but and there are many others.
There's no question on the floor. Let's take down Exhibit 4. Okay. On August 31st, did you try to run over Miss Beard with your vehicle?
Absolutely not.
Okay. After
Did you
you
say
left,
her name is Miss
did
Beard?
she ask you to come back?
Yes.
And did you in fact come back?
Many times she asked me. No, I did not, because
Creed
it
gets
was an
upset at
aggravated
sight of
environment,
blood.
and I didn't want to return to that.
Okay. And have you seen your son since?
I have not seen my son in almost 6 months, including Christmas, New Year's, birthday, etc.
Stay
She has kept
safe.
him from me.
Do
You're
you
in
know
that
where Miss
area.
Beard lives?
I have no idea. I know her general neighborhood because I have heard from friends that he goes to a certain school, and I know where that is.
Okay. If you did find out exactly where she lives, do you have any intention to go to her home?
Absolutely not.
Okay. If and when the court enters an
She just
order
had
for
a-
parenting time, are you going to comply with whatever the order says about when and if you can have contact with Miss
Mavis.
Beard?
Absolutely. And we, tried to do
Absolutely,
mediation,
Creed.
and I complied with every wish that she had.
Didn't
And
want to
she
pass out with
uh,
that.
Can't really
refused to
talk
settle.
about what happened in mediation.
Okay, I'm
Understandable.
sorry. Mhm.
No worries. Since August, have you had any face-to-face contact with Ms. Beard?
I have
You
not.
ride haul, y'all. 38.
Other than the messages that we've seen regarding property and you
Bastard.
seeing your son, have there been any other text messages or communications between you and Ms. Beard?
There was one communication that I received from my son's phone, saying, "Can we hang out on Friday?" Which
Aw.
at that time that it was sent, he would have been in school. And so I knew it wasn't from him directly. That said, I said that I would check my calendar and make sure that I could see him by the end of the day. I would give him an answer. She immediately texted me back from her number, berating me, and there was no further texts after that.
Okay.
Hold on. No need to wave. We see you.
Do you have
Ms.
an
Beard,
objection, or you just want to ask a question when it comes to your chance? This is not your time to ask a question.
Good. Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Edwards, you may continue.
Ms.
She'll
Beard testified that
finger
you,
pew
at
pew,
some point
Creed.
in the past, I believe it was, March of 2021, tried to run her over with a car. Have you ever at any point tried to run her over with a vehicle?
I have never tried to run her over with a car.
Have you ever aimed a vehicle in
No.
her direction?
Never.
Okay. She testified that you attacked her in the forest and punched her in the face and choked her. Did you do that?
Absolutely not.
In terms of the incident where she was arrested, did you have anything to do with that? Was that even your house?
Damn, son.
That is my address. I do live there at the residence. I live in the
Oh, with your
down.
parents.
Yes, my parents'
Okay.
home. Yep. And they were the ones who called the police. That was the furniture belonged to the house, etc. So
Six has got that Brent money now. I'm believing him, by the way.
Does Miss Beard have any reason to be physically afraid of you? Have you ever physically hurt her in the past, or will you physically hurt her in the future?
no, ma'am.
I mean,
Ms.
she's
Beard, we lost you.
cray.
She just rage quit.
I'm here. I apologize.
Okay.
I had to take a shot.
I don't have any other questions for him.
All right, sir. I will ask, I have one question since she is not represented. Sir, I do have a question. On the day, did you leave that parking lot at a high rate of speed?
I did not, and I'm highly doubt that those tracks are from my vehicle. That is a high traffic area. There's no proof that those are from mine, and I did not drive off at a high rate of speed.
Okay.
So that, in fact, I left intentionally calmly, as
Calmly.
Well,
There
you
had-
say calmly, and I will say this, there was obvious yelling from both sides in that video.
right, but I drove away calmly. Just to
Okay.
clarify, because
I was whispering
I
when I
wanted to
drove
make
away.
sure that
Okay, all right,
mhm.
thank you. All right. Miss Beard, do you have any questions you would like me to ask? And this is not a time for you to testify, but to ask specific questions about what he said.
Oh,
That
testify.
you would like me to ask him?
Cry.
It's just always my word against his, and it
Oh.
Where's the proof?
I don't know which way to go.
Oh.
It will happen again.
Okay, do you have any questions you would like me to ask him?
No, I'm okay.
All right.
You sure? You need
Ms.
this?
Edwards, do you have any other evidence or witnesses you would like to present?
No, Your Honor, I just have my closing argument.
Okay, so.
Everybody saw that, right? What
Ms.
Six just
Beard,
said?
because you do
Everybody?
carry the burden in this case, you have the right to say a statement, let the respondent's attorney go, and then finish your statement. Okay, so would you like to do that, or would you like to just finish once?
Can
she
we see a
said
picture of
her
his
piece?
new girlfriend?
Well, I feel I
Is it
feel
an
like I
upgrade,
should
you
say
think?
something.
Oh, God.
I mean, as I'm
You had
like
that
getting ready
chance.
for my discovery
Beard.
and whatnot, in this like sense of innocence that's coming from him, I'm asking like for my friends to write, the friends that I was allowed to have. I was never allowed to have a car or have a job that would allow me to have childcare and whatnot during that relationship. And even like Shannon just recently after Christmas time reached out to the one person that was allowed in my home and threatened to have him deported back to Haiti.
So
I know.
you need to limit it to stuff that's been in evidence.
Yeah.
I know this is
Jordan, we
different
would
for
never do
you.
that, by the way.
And again, it can't be what someone else has said unless there
She
is that
did
person
terrible.
or other evidence is here.
No
Okay.
matter which way, she did.
So,
it.
what can you just kind of give us a closing about why you
Complete
feel
opposite,
like
Carol.
you
She
need
invites
this
him back
order and
after
what you
supposed
have
to get
shown the
almost
court
ran over.
today?
I do feel that not only my life is in danger, but also our sons, because of the amount of violence. I left to keep 3 children safe, and I was able to do that. I'm trying to keep Emrys the safest and happiest and healthiest child possible. And I would like for him to know his father and be a part of their life, but some therapy needs to happen. I've been asking for since 2019. And I honestly feel that when he finds out where I live and we have to see each other face to face, it will be very nasty until there is some sort of therapy that takes place.
Not that he's a saint, but
it has constantly been like this, and
come over
now
here
all I
right
can
now.
do is walk around with a camera around my neck. And
You're a vlogger. Congratulations.
I guess that's all I
I
can
don't
say.
know. That room he's in, Kev, looks pretty
I'm
Ms.
sorry.
nice.
Edwards, and then I'll let
Theater.
Ms. Beard have the last word.
Your Honor, the history of this case was important because obviously our defense is not only that it didn't happen, but obviously that Ms. Beard has a problem with credibility.
skills
She
are
has a
off,
flexible
Karina.
relationship with the truth, and that she had a motive to lie and to take out a TPO based on false allegations to continue this campaign of keeping her
Perfect.
son away from his father as revenge for him daring to leave her and dating another woman. So if you look at the timeline, July of 2022, I asked her point blank, were you upset that he was dating someone else? And she says no. And that clearly is not true. If you look at the text messages, she essentially calls the lady fat, makes some fun of her weight, and then says in the same sentence, you will go to court before you see my son again, as she's talking about his girlfriend. So clearly she was jealous and had some issues with him having a girlfriend, and that sort of sets the scene for August and the showdown. So yes, they're both arguing at each other in the parking lot. She says she's not recording. I absolutely don't believe her. She's got credibility issues. She's holding the phone at the same angle the entire time. It seems very clear that she is recording. And if she's recording, she would have caught him trying to run her over if that's what he actually did.
Exactly.
He absolutely did not. The car was his girlfriend's car. That's why she's mad. That's why she's upset. He drove up in the girlfriend's car, and and you saw how quickly she switched in the video. First, she went from, oh, he doesn't want to ride in the car. He doesn't like the car. And then immediately switched to, oh, well, you need to send me proof of insurance, even though that's not a thing. No one brings proof of insurance every time they go to pick up their child. But he doesn't. He sends her the text message the same day, and she still won't let him get the child because she's upset. My client leaves. He did not try to run her over. She did not go to the police the same day. She has absolutely no evidence of it, no police report, nothing. But I think what's more telling is, what did she do after that? Because the most rational thing anybody would do is, oh my God, I can't believe you did this. Not at one point after that do you see any message between these two parties where she says, of course I'm not meeting you. Are you crazy? You tried to run me over with a car. She never mentions it because it didn't happen. It flat out didn't happen. Immediately after him leaving, she asks him to come back twice. You don't ask someone that just tried to kill you to come back and do it again. So it just didn't happen. And then she didn't apply for a TPO for 4 months. So there's two ways this can go. She says that she thought she had a TPO the entire time. I don't think that's accurate, because if she thought she had a TPO the entire time, why is she sending him messages about furniture and all kinds of other things when she thinks she has something in place preventing contact? So I don't think she thought she had a TPO. She knew she didn't have a TPO. So what happened then? She decided to break into his parents' house and grab whatever she got. She got arrested for it. And you heard her in that voice message. And she was upset. She was furious.
Only person that's been arrested here is her.
And she said, you have 10 minutes to fix this, or I'm going to make sure you never see your son again. And she followed through on that promise, because 3 days later, this happened on a Friday. So it's not as if she could have done it that day. So on Tuesday, she went to the courthouse and she applied for a TPO. The first one got dismissed because it didn't get served. She filed a second one in December. But it is all after that voicemail where she says, I'm going to make sure that you don't see your son again. That's what this is about. Because at that point, what was the danger? She hasn't seen my client since August. Everyone on the screen knows he has no rights. So where's the danger? So clearly he can't go to her house. He can't see the child unless she agrees. She doesn't agree. So she wasn't in fear for her safety when she filed this TPO in November. She was ticked off that she got arrested for her actions.
Good to see you, Lauren.
And of course, the second prong of the TPO, whether or not you believe family violence has occurred, and obviously we state that it hasn't, and my client states that it hasn't, but is it likely to occur again? Do you need to put a TPO in place in order to prevent acts of family violence? The answer is clearly no. He doesn't know where she lives.
Get your bets in.
He has no rights.
Does she get it or not?
We have a hearing next week in the legitimation case. If the court orders legitimation and parenting time, the court's going to hear all of this evidence again and going to decide what safety measures are appropriate. I think it's a great idea that these people don't meet up in a parking lot, because they're yelling at screaming at each other. Even if it's not family violence, yelling and screaming at each other in front of children is not good. So the court is going to put parameters in place, whether it be at a police station, whether or not each party has to send a third party. A court is going to have much more time than we've had today in order to look at all the evidence and decide what should be put in place. But there is no necessity for a TPO, because he can't get to her if he wanted to. He doesn't want to get to her. And nothing is going to happen in terms of contact unless a court orders it in the legitimation case. So I think the evidence has definitely shown that that family violence has not occurred. I don't think she's credible about this incident. Her own actions belie it, because you just don't act that way if someone has tried to hurt you, especially immediately after. Maybe if you calm down and you kind of rethink something, but no, immediately after he leaves, she says, come back. And that's not compatible with
She actually
someone,
said, "Baby, come
that just
back."
tried to run you over with a car. So
Oh.
it didn't happen. So we're asking that the
No,
court dismiss
no, the
the
kid's not
protective order
19. I don't
against
think we
the
know how
clients,
old the
and we'll
kid
let
is.
the legitimation
No,
court
it hasn't
determine,
said.
There is
you know, how
I'm
these
saying
parties see
under
each other in the
10,
context of
Around
raising
10
their
because they were
child.
together 10 years. At least so, somewhere around there.
All
Yeah,
right,
the
Ms.
19-year-old
Spears,
was
you
three,
have the final word.
Oh, this ought to be good.
You need to unmute.
She's not
I
I
strongly
lost.
feel, and as well as the last time I saw my mother.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Ugly crying. Here it comes. I'm
She
gonna
said
cry
that this
too.
was going to happen. My mother showed up with the police and said that Shannon was going to kill me, and she died directly after.
Did Shannon do it?
And there has been such a long, long history of violence, and it's the one time I feel safe for him not knowing where I am. I can go to sleep, and he's not crashing my car up or coming inside my front door to hit me in the head.
Could be worse. It could be coming in your back door.
And I'm so regretful for leaving that message, but I was in the back of the police car after they left, after everyone reassured me that the charges were dropped. And they all reassured me. And I had the emails that say it. And I was scared because of the resentment towards me.
Here it is.
I was completely involved. And it scares me.
All right.
It's slightly moist, but you can
Okay.
have it.
Thank you, ma'am. That's all right.
Killed
So,
it. Killed it.
this
Home
has
run.
been a long day for everyone. I understand that, and I'm taking very seriously the evidence presented by both
Very
sides.
serious.
I'm going to I'm just going to take this under advisement for the next for today. All right, the ex parte order is still in effect.
What? A
I
cliffhanger?
will because I want to review my notes, and I need to look at whether by a preponderance of the evidence an act of family violence or a felony there's been enough evidence presented that has occurred, and whether there's a likelihood of any of those occurring in the future.
What?
As Ms. Edwards said, this is a very volatile situation. So regardless of the order, I would encourage the parties, especially the respondent, to keep in mind. Additionally, while the ongoing litigation, there's ongoing criminal cases, and there, I believe, maybe even a no violent
Was
contact
the judge
condition in
moved by
case,
the
and
tears
some of
at the end?
arguing and the actions of the parties could be violating any of your bond conditions. So I really want just keep that in mind. Whatever
Chat.
order I do issue, as if
Your
an order
thoughts
is issued, it will
on this?
anything regarding the child and exchange and custody of the child will be superseded by anything that happens in the legitimation order in the future.
Wow.
And
She
if
wiped
an
her
order
eyes
is
like
not
a kid.
issued, those criminal cases are still out there, and the legitimation order will be ongoing. Okay. So I'm going to take very seriously what all parties have said. However, I rule does not mean I believe one party necessarily fully over the other party. It just means I'm looking at the burden of proof and the evidence that was presented here today. Okay.
Wow.
And ma'am, you're Miss Edwards, you're muted. I think it was because there was some feedback for a minute there.
Yes, where do I send the flash drive of my exhibits?
Miss Broom, can you let Miss Edwards know that?
Sorry, Judge, what was that?
She wants to know where she can send the flash drive with the exhibits.
I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of lunch. Why'd you say, baby?
Okay, you can send it to the clerk office. You're
That-
gonna
that-
mail it in, or?
There's Debbie.
Yes.
Okay, the address is 556 North McDonough Street, McDonough. Attention, Tara Jackson,
Tara.
JACKSON.
Spell.
Is the first name TARA?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And of course, Decatur, Georgia, the zip code is 330.
No, Debbie.
Got it. Thank you.
Debbie's the best.
All right, thank you all. As I said, the ex parte will be in place until the order is issued. And you should get a copy of the order
Wow.
once it is issued.
Wow.
Okay.
Any questions? Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
And make sure you put the case number on there so we'll know where the case
Yes, I'll
is.
put
Wow. Wow. How can you not come up with the decision right then and there?
Maybe, Jim, but at the same time, here's the thing. It's court. She brought zero evidence except for the video that she played for a couple of seconds. Yeah, people yell at each other. You can just hear the audio. I don't know.
Do you think the judge was going to say that regardless? Like, she's one of these people that really needs to pour over the notes. Or was Mrs. Beards crying right there at the end that pulled it together? Maybe
that was terrible.
my mother. The last time I saw my mother.
If you believe that, that's
There's no way I believe any of that.
And listen, I
And is the guy a prick? Maybe.
yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, I'm sure he's
Absolutely.
not perfect.
I'm sure he beat Emerson's ass at the baseball game because he's probably showing his ass crying or something. He's like, son, you better man up and get out there.
I mean, the spanking in front of the whole baseball team is kind of funny, but I don't know. I guess again, we're not lawyers, we're not judges, we're not any of that. Outside looking in.
And she does seem a little toxic for the kid. I mean, anything she says about the dad or the dad's girlfriend is completely negative.
Here's the thing, though. Maybe there's one thing that we're missing, and that's that this PTO thing is already, or whatever, going for their ex parte. It's already there, right? So they're
The
just
one she put in, yeah.
So they're just extending it. So I don't think necessarily. I mean, it's nice to have that off and gone, of course, but I don't think it's as bad as giving somebody one, if you will. We are just extending it out. There was another thing that was said too that we might have missed also, that there are some pending. Did she say charges or?
Well, I mean,
cases?
she got arrested. You got to remember the wife, Mrs. Beard, was arrested for breaking into his family's home and taking stuff. And that's when the whole message was sent, where she said, "You better get me out of this, or you'll never see your son again." So there's a lot of Emerson here is being pushed both ways. Yeah, that was really. I mean, we got a lot of entertainment out of it, but they left us with the big set of the blue ones.